This broadcast is brought to you by Colby Brooks with Century 21 Right Pace Real Estate and buyfrombrooks.com. Let Colby Brooks handle all your real estate needs. Tonight on NEA Report, a music teacher is accused of second-degree sexual assault with one of his students. We'll have the full details on this concerning story coming up. Plus, the city of Egypt will pay legal fees and take FOIA training after having a man arrested for making open records requests. How in the world did it get here? Well, we're going to have the full story beginning to end. It's a special report on this story next on NEA Report. Let's do the news. Let's begin tonight with a concerning story out of Jonesboro, where a music teacher, 29-year-old Adam Miles Peoples, is accused of felony sexual assault in the second degree of a 14-year-old student of his. He was hired in October by the parents of the 14-year-old, to provide music lessons for her. She learned about him through her high school band program, right? And so the lessons apparently took place for several months, and then on December the 3rd, she attended a private music lesson at ASU. It was in the Fine Arts Building. So the lesson finished, but apparently that's when the trouble began. Because according to the girl, Peoples pushed her against the wall, began kissing her, and rubbing her inappropriately. After that, in the days that followed, inappropriate messages, including sexually explicit photos, were exchanged on the Snapchat program. According to police, the man was interviewed first on Friday when he denied any sexual contact or sending or receiving photos. But a follow-up interview was conducted over the weekend, and authorities say that Peoples admitted to the assault and admitted to sending and receiving the photos mentioned by the victim. Now he's charged with a felony that could put him away for 20 years. He could go to prison for 2 decades. Second-degree sexual assault is nothing to play with. Although a lot of people in the chat have had odd debates about this, it's not appropriate, and it will land somebody in serious trouble. And in this case, Mr. Peoples may end up going to jail for a long time. We'll keep following the story and let you know the latest on NEA Report. So the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act is designed to let you know, the citizens, the people that pay for the government, that elects the government, and that owns the government. It's designed to let you know what's going on in your city. Why are certain people being hired? What are certain people's qualifications? For example, although there are many other different things you could ask for open records access to. But those are just the things that I bring up because they were several of the requests made by Stephen Warren. A story that we first brought to you in October discussed this lawsuit that was, well, it was settled today as the city of Egypt decided to bow to the lawsuit. And even though I don't think technically they admitted fault based on the wording of the lawsuit, the actions that they're having to take show clear fault was in the city's corner. So the whole thing, it began whenever Stephen Warren wanted to know the qualifications of the city's police chief. He was told by the mayor, file something in court if he had a problem, and that's exactly what he did. He was represented by a pretty good lawyer, too, Attorney Zachary Morrison out of Jonesboro. He's over at the Reese Law Firm. So the lawsuit was filed on Tuesday, October the 8th in Craighead County Court against the city of Egypt, the mayor, Jerry Cook, the recorder-treasurer, Joy Lingo, chief of police, Gerald Goza, and the city attorney, Rhonda Davis. They were all being sued individually, but also in their official capacity. And by the way, Egypt, not a big community. 112 people live there, right? Just enough to, I guess, attract legal troubles. So the lawsuit says that on or about August 1st, Warren asked the mayor for information about the qualifications and certifications of the police chief. The lawsuit says the mayor told him he wouldn't provide any documentation. But see, verbal requests for those records, whether you like it or not, if you're the mayor, you have to honor that records request. If you don't like that, and if you don't want to do that, get out of city government. Go create a private business, and then you can be the boss all you want. But when it comes to government, you have to understand the boss is the public. And when the law says you literally have to give those records, it's ridiculous that he would not have. But that's exactly what happened. He said, file something in court, according to the lawsuit. And so the plaintiff did, and he prevailed. That's where we're at today, by the way. I just want to mention, though, before he got there, the guy was arrested several times. Yeah, arrested for making open records request. This is all from NEAreport.com, the original story from back in October. He appeared in Egypt City Hall. He made an open records request on August 13th. He wanted to see the city's financial records and other records, but the lawsuit says the defendant, Miss Lingo, told him no. The plaintiff claims Lingo admitted to this in a court filing from another matter. And the suit actually says she admitted, quote, I told him no, he was not going through my records. The word my is a particular concern there. It's not her records. She's just the person that's today in charge of those and may not be tomorrow, especially if this is the kind of, approach she sort of takes. The lawsuit goes on to say she insisted Warren submit a written records request, but you don't have to submit a written request for anything. You are literally compelled to comply with that request if somebody asks out loud for it. That's it. Warren, during that exact incident, was arrested by the police chief, ironically the one he wanted to have the qualifications of, for disorderly conduct. It occurred after Lingo said she was fearful of Warren. But Warren says that's not true at all. She showed contempt toward him, not fear. The lawsuit actually included a video that was sent along to me many months back. I reviewed it, and it was actually several pieces of video. It wasn't really filmed particularly well, and you could kind of barely hear what was going on. So I don't think it's conducive to the live stream, or I would bring it in. But after several viewings, there was not any type of threatening behavior by Warren. There was not any disorderly behavior. He probably responded frustratedly and maybe a little loud at times. He wasn't shouting by any of the stretch of the definition, but just as anybody would become frustrated being told something they know is wrong, that's what happened. But he was arrested for disorderly conduct. He also got another disorderly conduct arrest and a harassment charge out of this too, from the city. Oh yeah, those are all dropped now, by the way, as part of this settlement, which is just... What does that say about the system? That you had to sue the city in a civil case to get them to drop bogus criminal charges. It tells you there's a major problem with our justice system that we need to address overall and more broadly than just individually in lawsuits like this. The lawsuit also alleged the mayor admitted to the plaintiff's wife he had Warren arrested, saying he's not going to have Steve, I guess, or Stephen Warren, bother Miss Joy with this FOIA crap. But FOIA crap, Freedom of Information Act, crap. That's their job. It is. You got 100 people in your town, right? You can follow the law. Apparently, a domestic order of protection also filed against Warren by both the Egypt mayor and Lingo. I don't believe it was successful, but it's not going to matter because everything associated with this has now been dropped, dismissed, and the city is going to pay for it once again. By the way, there's an ad for Mark Reese's law firm. He is an advertiser with NEA Report. I'll just mention that. Although it really has no relevance to the story, except to say that Zach Morrison works there. I'm still going to cover it the same way, right? So, here's what happened today. I want to go through the terms of the settlement. Number one, Egypt, they're paying the attorney fees and costs, $1,400. This all comes directly out of the settlement agreement that was signed. Number two, Egypt is dismissing criminal charges against Warren, including for disorderly conduct and harassment. That's after he was arrested, I told you, for the open records request. Exactly tied to that. All city officials, except for the recorder, treasurer Joy Lingo, and Rhonda Davis, agreed to attend FOIA training within 6 months of signing the settlement. Which is strange that Ms. Lingo didn't have to attend after some of the statements that were included with her, but I don't know the full circumstances there. Something may have changed. Egypt also agreed to provide responses to the FOIA request. Apparently, all this time they still haven't. Now they're going to. And in the exchange for that, Warren will dismiss his FOIA complaint against the city and circuit court. So what does that really mean? What did I just read to you? Let me break it down truthfully. What that means is the city screwed up. 4 times in the 5 right there, the city is going to have to do something they should have already done. And number 5, he drops his actual complaint, which was actually valid, unlike their criminal charges, and then it goes away. Man, wouldn't it be nice if civilians could criminally charge, the police when they make mistakes and put us on trial and our choices are settle or go to potentially jail? It's a little bit different sometimes whenever the courts don't exactly rule in the favor of the government agency. In this instance, clearly not. But it didn't even have to get to the point of a ruling because they knew, the city knew, and the city's attorney's legal representation, I'm guessing that's the municipal league since most cities have a contract with them, but I don't know that for certain right now. Whomever was in charge of the defense knew there wasn't one. You have to provide the records request. You have to comply with the law, even if you wear a badge or if you're a mayor. Sometimes communities don't want to do that, but they still must. As one person pointed out on NEA Report in the comments section, he said, the city of Jonesboro officials, he said you could tell they were frustrated they were being told what they already knew, but not what they wanted to do. It is a joke. Maybe it is. Maybe the law needs more teeth. Perhaps something needs to be done to make it clear if you don't follow the law and you're a government official and you make somebody go to court for that, you have to personally pay, minimum, instead of the city paying. Because ultimately, will they learn? It's tough to say since it's the public that's going to end up footing the bill once again. Thanks, everybody, for joining and watching tonight on NEA Report. We appreciate you for being a part of this program and for being a part of this news outlet, too, because it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for all of you liking and sharing the news. A lot of people ask us, what makes something a news story? The answer is the public. That's what makes it a news story. 99 cents a month, and you can become a supporter and help us keep the lights on. We appreciate it a lot. We appreciate everything. Hey, why not? Stan Morris reporting, NEA Report, Jonesboro. Have a great night.